Okay, I'm back with part 3 of this 4-part video series about Faith Evans and Stevie J. So this part, I'm going to get into the 4-card reading that I did about Joseline. So before I get into that, I do have to add one more thing in Stevie J's chart that can point to him having a child through artificial means. So Stevie J's Mars runs contra-parallel to the asteroid Niobe, and that can deal with him having a child that came through some type of artificial means, because Mars is in Aquarius, and then Niobe is at the 15th degree of Pisces and it's retrograde, so that could also deal with secrecy surrounding a child. So that to me supports what I'm saying as perhaps that baby that he had with Joseline was created via artificial means or created via a third party. It can also deal with him trying to create the illusion that a male that he's with is pregnant. So that could deal with those pictures where he's with Joseline and Joseline's standing with what appears to be a pregnant belly. But again, the more I think about it, males can actually make it seem like they got a pregnant belly. I mean, you've seen it with older men where they have beer bellies. But how a fit male could do it is he could basically fake a pregnancy by just eating a lot of that weight gainer, eating as much as possible through the pregnancy, and when it comes time to take pictures of the pregnant belly, just stick their belly out. Like, makes me think about Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan, he used to always stick his belly out on TV, and he had a round belly and looked like he was pregnant. And he used to make jokes about it and stuff like that. So, I'm just saying, it's not too far-fetched for someone to actually fake a pregnancy and make it seem like they have a pregnant belly, but they actually don't. And again, there's this other thing called Photoshop, as you know. So again, I'm not satisfied by those pictures. I'm not satisfied by the video of her supposed childbirth, because I didn't see the actual childbirth and nobody saw that. So nobody could say that, oh, they actually saw her give birth to a child. No, you saw her supposedly in pain, and then, you know, a baby coming out, but you didn't see her hoo-ha. That's what I'm saying. Until I see actual, because I didn't see Joseline in the flesh being pregnant, because I didn't see that birth happen with my own eyes, is like, I'm very skeptical. And this hasn't been the first fake pregnancy. So again, now, the interesting thing is, Joseline was born one day after Stevie J, but different years. So she was born November 3rd. Stevie J's born November 2nd. So that means that her son isn't square to his nodes, just like how his son isn't square to his nodes. So she fits right into his whole conflict with not being fully out in the open, having something to hide. Also, her son being at the 11th degree of Scorpio is right on his Lilith. So remember in part 2, I was talking about how Stevie J has his Lilith running parallel to his Aquarius North Node. His Lilith is at the 11th degree of Scorpio, and that can deal with, in my opinion, him being attracted to transgender women, or women who are sexually deviant, women who are sexually liberated, whores even. So basically, with Stevie J's Lilith being on Joseline's son, that means that she's his Lilith. You can even look at it as she's his pet project, and he said that he created her. So, going back to this reading, so I did a 4-card reading about this situation. My question was Joseline Hernandez born a male? And this 4-card reading consists of the first card being the situation, the second card being the challenge, the third card being the the outcome. I'm about to tell what it is already. The third card being the advice, the fourth card being the outcome. So let me just reiterate. First card is the situation. Second card is the challenge. third card is the advice, which is the answer, and the fourth card is the outcome. So the first card I pulled was the Death card. The Death card corresponds to Scorpio, and that is a card of transformation, major change. And like I said in part 2, Scorpio is one of the main signs for transgenderism. Moving along. The challenge card is the Three of Swords. That's a card of conflict. And that reinforces, or I'll say that echoes, Joseline's Libra South Node, which can deal with basically feeling like you're not in the right body, feeling like you are supposed to be the opposite sex. So Libra is the sign of the opposite sex, and Joseline's South Node's at the 19th degree of Libra. 19 is a masculine number. It's very masculine. So the 19th degree of Libra, with the South Node being there, can deal with a male who is trying to masquerade as a female, or a male who does identify more as a female, because we're talking about the opposite sex with Libra. So this lets me know that Joseline is still very much living in that whole Libra South Node framework, but also being kind of Aries North Node too, because Joseline is very much about conflict. Joseline is a fighter. Joseline won't hesitate to fight anybody, and Joseline doesn't back down from a conflict. So that's very North Node in Aries. But that South Node in Libra shines through, especially because Joseline's Sun is conjoined to her Venus, which means that, very feminine, very relationship oriented even. So it makes it hard for her to move fully towards that North Node in Aries. So, going back to what I said, that Three of Swords card, the reason why I'm associating it with Libra is because it is a Libra card. Three of Swords is a Saturn and Libra card. So there's that Libra energy, and it's about conflict. It can also deal with separations. It can deal with operating at cross purposes. It can also deal with necessary cutting. Like there's something that needs to be cut. That's also a card of surgery. The third card, advice card, is the Ace of Wands. Now anybody that is familiar with tarot, you know what the Ace of Wands is. That's a very masculine card. It's a card that represents a penis. So there's your answer right there. That is a definite yes, in my opinion, that Joseline Hernandez was born a male. The fourth card, which is the outcome, is the Three of Cups. That's a Cancer card. That's a very feminine card, and that could deal with Joseline being welcomed into womanhood, or her emerging into womanhood as a trans woman. So she has factors in her chart that point to being a trans woman as well. Her Sun is conjoined to Pluto. Her Sun being at the 11th degree, like I said, and her Sun being right on Stevie J's Lilith. So she's playing right into his Lilith motif. Her Sun is conjoined to Pluto. That could deal with her going through some type of transformation in terms of her image. And Pluto's at the 7th degree of Scorpio. That 7 can deal with illusion, secrecy, deception. But it can also deal with modeling, photography, glamour. But it can also deal with drag. It can deal with putting up a charade. And that Sun conjunct Pluto can deal with having a baby through a third party or a surrogate. Joseline's Sun is in square to Mars. And her Mars is also squaring Stevie J's Sun. So it's echoed in their synastry. So this Sun square Mars can deal with Joseline attempting to disguise her masculine traits. Attempting to eradicate all signs of her manhood. It could deal with a fear of someone coming out with the truth. And this points to what I'm about to read to you that I found online on this website called SandraRose.com, which is a gossip website. Now, one of Sandra's fans wrote her a letter, and this is what the letter said. Hi Sandra, I have solid proof that Joseline Hernandez of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was born a man. Joe, she writes in quotes, and I went to the same school. Attaches a photo scan of his high school yearbook picture before the surgeries. Please don't publish his pic. I was close to him in high school. Here's my contact info. Let's talk. Contact info removed. That's in brackets. Now, because Joseline's Mars is in Aquarius and it's squaring her Sun, this could deal with conflict from a friend. a friend threatening to expose you. Scorpio is a sign of exposure. Also, Joseline has her Chiron at the 20th degree of Gemini opposing Uranus at the 20th degree of Sagittarius. That 20th degree deals with feminine energy, and it can bring awakening. So it can deal with one part of your life is very different from the next part. It can deal with a major transformation, a major change. Now, this can deal with the friend again, threatening or going to the media because Chiron's in Gemini about Joseline really being a male. Now, this also points to, especially with the Chiron at the 20th degree of Gemini, because it's conjoined to the fixed star Bellatrix. And Bellatrix deals with being successful by underhanded means. It basically means success through the shadow. So with Chiron at the 20th degree, that 20th degree again deals with womanhood, can deal with her being able to pull off the illusion of being a woman. And Chiron deals with that which is artificial, that which can make you exceptional. The 20th degree also pertains to pregnancy. So that can also deal with her being able to pull off the fake pregnancy. And the pregnancy basically would shut down all rumors of her being a man. So, in my opinion, because I originally, when I first saw Joseline on Love and Hip Hop, my first thought was that she was transgender. So this whole thing about her being transgender is not any thing new to me, because ever since I saw her on TV, I thought she was transgender, and I've been blessed with the gift of keen discernment. So I feel comfortable in saying this because I'm pretty good at picking out transgenders who are still in the closet. And I definitely saw Joseline as one. And a lot of people saw the same thing, but then over the years it got like more suppressed because she was supposedly pregnant and now has a child and all that. But like I said, Hollywood is about illusion. And there's so much that goes on that we believe is real that is not real. Now, Joseline also has her sun in trine to Jupiter in Pisces, and that could deal with being able to pull off an illusion, having a lot of people fooled, even being able to pull off a fake pregnancy. And this could deal with her releasing those new photos to shut down anybody that's trying to say that she was born a male. So, with the 4-card reading I did, and also looking at her chart, I'm going to safely assume that my suspicions are correct. Now, there's been people on Love and Hip Hop that have made snarky comments to basically imply that Joseline was born a male. Mainly, I think it was Lil Scrappy, Erica, Carly Red was another one. I believe she hinted in some interview. It was either with The Breakfast Club or what was that? What's that other one? Power something. One of those morning interview shows on the radio. She I forget what she said, but now I found this online too, coming from Mama D. Mama D gave an interview to Funky Geneva, and they were talking about Joseline's abortion, because Joseline supposedly had an abortion before she had Bonnie Bella. I think that's the name of the baby. But Mama D said, guess what? Me and Joseline have in common. We have no womb. And then Funky Geneva said, wait, but you had a hysterectomy. She didn't. Are you saying she's a man? So Mama D was basically trying to hint that Joseline doesn't have a womb, and that basically means that she's a man. Now, Mama D has don't have much room to talk, in my opinion, because I question Mama D's true gender as well. Because Mama D, like, when I first saw her on the scene, I was like, is she a transgender? Like, is that little Scrappy's father instead of his mother? I don't put much past these people on TV. And you have to think about the sign of the times. You have more people who are acknowledging who they really feel inside. You have more people who are coming out as transgender. But you also have people who are transgender, but they're able to pass in Hollywood. And case in point, like, this is nothing new. Like, there's this wonderful documentary, one of my favorite documentaries, called Paris is Burning. And it's about the drag queen scene. They used to have these balls in New York back in the early 80s. And it was a bunch of drag queens, and some of them look like straight up biological women. There was one in particular, Octavia St. Laurent. She was one of my favorites. She definitely could pass if you don't know what to look for. And she's no longer with us. Rest in peace. But like I said, Joseline the damn sure ain't the first to be able to pass really well. But I don't even think Joseline could pass that well, because I could see still a lot of masculine traits and masculine features and things like that. Oh, another thing about Joseline. Joseline has the asteroid Shiva. Let me just pull this up real quick, because this is interesting. Joseline has the asteroid Shiva. Where is that at? Conjoined to her Neptune, and Shiva is in Capricorn. And that could deal with destruction. Shiva is an asteroid that deals with destruction, so I see that as getting some of her bones maybe sawed down. They do that with the jawbone, or they might even take some ribs away or whatever like that to produce a more feminine looking image. So I'm looking at that as possibly that, dealing with that. And Neptune, as you know, is about illusion. So that's my take again. This might be controversial to some people, but like I said, if you can think outside the box, if you're not all stuck on everything you see in the media being the truth, then you might really start to really consider what I'm saying to be the truth, actually. Now, I'll be back with part 4, where I get into the synastry between Stevie J and Faith. So stay with me. And if you would like a reading, just go to my website at rabina.com. Peace and many blessings.